Ankur, I'm really excited to dig into T-Mobile's AI strategy with you. So first and foremost, thank you for taking the time to have this conversation with me.
Sean, it's so great to be here. Thanks for giving us the opportunity to talk about how T-Mobile is changing the industry in this space.
So to start things off, if I look at how you and your colleagues discuss the company's various AI initiatives, there seems to be this clear distinction between a focus on specific domain-level projects and a real emphasis on what those projects mean for customer experience. So maybe you can help me understand what sort of customer metrics you track in gauging the success of your AI-enabled network automation.
Yeah, let me first start with exactly where what you said. I think if you think of historically, industry has talked a lot about automation and autonomous networks and domains and radio and IP and network. And I think that's a good starting point. We took a little different approach on that. Our vision, and I think that's what this business has been built on, is customer centricity. And our vision was no automation is good enough unless it's really impacting customer experience. If it's not delivering a differentiated customer experience, it's only operational benefits, that's great. But how do we actually take it to the next level? And that's where we started thinking about automation and autonomous network based on customer outcomes. The historic metrics that everybody has looked at, those are important, right? That's how we run and operate the networks, something that we always have to keep an eye on. But really, what does it mean for the customer? Are their applications working? Are they able to upload the pictures when they wanted to upload the pictures, regardless of whether network boxes are in the green state or not? So that's really kind of how we're looking at these metrics. We measure many different things, right? I talked about the responsiveness of the applications. Were you able to watch videos when you wanted to? What is the NPS scores telling us? How do we actually see the number of calls that come to our care organization for network reasons, right? How fast do we resolve a customer pain point, not a network element going from a red to green, right? And those are, for the operations teams, important metrics to measure. So that's really kind of how we have thought about this being based on customer outcomes, as opposed to just the network elements, right? Automation is the goal. Better customer experience is what we believe we have to deliver on.
Well, I think that's excellent context, so thank you for laying that out for us. I do want to talk about some of the specific projects you've worked on with your colleagues. One of them is the Agentic NOC, where you're using specialized agents while keeping people in the loop to manage those agents. How are you thinking about letting agents take closed-loop action? And to add on to that, what sort of evidence would earn an agent the authority to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's something that everybody's trying to figure out. And I think we've again taken, and I say this with obviously a lot of conviction, we've again taken a little bit different approach on where the rest of the industry, and even outside of the telco industries are headed. We clearly have Agentic NOC. So we think of our NOC systems in the old days divided into three different categories. We call it a tier 1, a tier 2, and a tier 3. And as you'd expect, our tier 1 NOC is somebody who's sitting there looking at the alarms. Our tier 2 is somebody who's trying to decide on the actions. And tier 3 is somebody who actually takes the actions, right? We have fully automated our tier 1 NOCs. We don't need humans in the loop. And that's why we used to spend a lot of time, right? We don't need humans in the loop to figure out when something goes wrong. We actually do it at the machine speed, right? Something that used to take us hours to identify where the actual issue is, because as you know, telcos network are getting very complex, right? The services, the new innovation that comes out makes it very, very complex, right? That's fully automated. Tier 2 is something that we actually do via lots of automation. We actually not only tell you what's wrong, we actually do an RCA on that. What I mean by that is the root cause analysis, and really pinpoint, here's where we believe the issue is, right there. Tier 3 is where we still keep the humans, because this is making real-time changes on the network. And depending on the severity of what the changes are, we either go closed loop or we take human interaction in there. A great example of where we actually fully believe the agents can take over, or full automation, a dynamic customer experience is a great example of that. We make thousands and thousands of parameter changes, antenna tilt changes, azimuth changes, and it's all closed loop, right? Everything from all the way to identifying when the event is, all the way to when the event is done. Everything in between happens in a fully autonomous fashion because we are looking for not the network nodes and how the network nodes are performing. We're looking for, are the customers getting that experience or not? Now, if we were to do the same thing on something on the core network, which is what I always say is the heart of the network, we obviously bring human in the loop. So lots of confidence in this. The biggest thing here is it has to be tested. We do lots of emphasis on making sure that we test before we take human out of the loop, making sure we look at the results and say, if humans would have done it, it might have taken exponentially more time, but would the results have been the same? Or are the machines providing something better, right? Or they're providing something that we need to go back and tweak. So it's kind of a closed loop, continuous learning system, but these are some of the metrics that we look at.
So as you look ahead over the next few years, how do you see your work with services like live translation, your work on AI RAN, everything we've discussed today? How does this all converge? Help us understand the holistic goal and then how you get there through incremental action.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think of that as all being complementary services, right? So I'll take a couple of them. We talked about AI RAN. We talked about the intent-based networks, live translation, dynamic customer experience. All of these actually feed into each other, right? So today we have built a platform, right, with Dynamic CX and our self-organizing networks that actually enables all this innovation. Dynamic CX is just one of them. There's probably another 5 to 6 that we have launched, right, which is for different events. If you think of live translation, that's a platform that we have built on our core network, right? And live translation is pretty cool. It is probably one of the best, and the voice calling innovation hasn't happened in decades, right? The only thing that's happened is the phone form factors have changed, but the voice is pretty much the same. This is the first time that we have actually changed and innovated something on the voice, right? But what's more exciting about that is how we have done that, right? Instead of this being a bolt-on and this being an application on a device, we have actually built it as a platform on the network, right? Sometimes I laugh about this with my team. The live translation on T-Mobile network works even on a flip phone. So you don't have to have a fancy $1,500 phone and it's the only phone that it works on. You don't have to have the other person on the other line having similar phone or similar application packages or languages. You actually don't even have to be in the country, right? You could be traveling internationally somewhere, and as long as one customer is on the T-Mobile network, and you could be on Wi-Fi, you don't even have to be on the cellular network. This service works, right? And imagine that innovation of you landing somewhere in the middle of night, missing your flight. Now you need a hotel reservation, and you have this language barrier, right? And I think many of us have gone through that, right? That's what is enabled, right? But more importantly, what we built is a platform because it runs on the AI native network, right? So we have brought in lots of intelligence there. What we're trying to do with AI RAN is we are trying to bring that intelligence into the cell sites, right? Because cell sites are actually all they've done for all the way from 1G to 5G. They've just moved bits and bytes, right? They have not moved tokens. They have not been intelligent, right? So this is the intelligence we're bringing with AI RAN, and we made some live calls. Hopefully by end of the year, we'll be making some more announcements on this. We are progressing really well. It's exciting to see how we're able to carry a radio workload and an AI workload on a cell site, right? So I'm not going to say that every tower is going to become a robot, but every tower is going to become an actual intelligent fabric. And that feeds back into our SON platform to do things like dynamic customer experience, right? Because now you have the intelligence at the cell side that can process all that data, send what's relevant back to this dynamic CX platform, who can go back and actually make the changes on the network. So it's all very interlinked. I can't be more excited and can't wait for all of these things to come together. We're doing some great innovations, but we're doing it in individual domains right now, right? In dynamic customer experience, we're doing this in the platforms, and linking all this with AI RAN coming in, the core becoming a platform. That's really the future.
Well, it's lots of really compelling work T-Mobile is doing with AI. So, Ankur, I really appreciate you taking the time to have this conversation with me and share your perspective with our audience.
Yeah, Sean, thank you for the opportunity again. And I think also in closing, our vision isn't just to automate the network. I think we had that vision maybe a couple of years ago, and we realized pretty soon that it's not only about automating the network. That's important. It's really delivering on those customer experiences. It's really enabling those new services. It's really smashing other customer pain point, which is what this business has been built on. So super proud of what the team has accomplished, and we won't stop.
Excellent. Thank you again, Ankur. I really appreciate it.